For any Xbox or PlayStation codes or anything gaming related, check out g2a.com, and if you need any Ultimate Team coins, then head over to FIFA. The code CHES will get you a discount on both sites, and all links are down below. Hey guys, how's it going? Chez back again, and welcome to episode number 40 of the Chelsea career mode here on FIFA 15. We start with an away game in the Champions League against German side Schalke at the Veltins Arena. You can see from the league table that actually we're already through to the next round regardless of what happens here today, but we'll start with some team news.
Schalke's line-up today: Joel Matip starts with Benedict Herberdes in central defence. Jefferson Farfan starts with Julian Draxler looking to provide width. Tarshan Puntelar is the main striker today. Wholesale changes for Chelsea. Thibaut Courtois starts today, replacing Diego Lopez, who's suffered in recent matches. Aymeric Laporte plays with Sergio Ramos as the centre-backs. Ramirez starts with Marco van Ginkel in the engine room. In attack, Diego Costa starts. He's been in tremendous form recently.
Couple of changes to the starting lineup then. Ramirez, Van Ginkel and Laporte all coming in for some of the players. We want to give a little bit of a rest too, because we've had a very hectic schedule recently, but Costa gets us off to a wonderful start here away from home, and that was a really nice tidy turn inside and a good finish across the goalkeeper into the bottom corner in off the post. And if you remember from the first game against Schalke, we were 2-1 up in that one, and they ended up getting an equaliser late on thanks to a really strange own goal where Danny Carvajal tried to head the ball away, ended up heading it backwards. It then hit Matic on the back and went over the top of the sprawling Diego Lopez. So we were hoping that that wasn't going to be the case today, and we were actually going to be able to get ourselves a win, and that win would of course seal us top of the group. As you saw from the table in the opening graphic, we are actually already through to the next round thanks to the weird way that the results have gone in this particular group this time around. So as things stand, still with 2 games to go, we are qualified for the round of 16. So it's between ourselves and Schalke as to who can get top of the group and of course get the quote-unquote easier draw in the first knockout round, although of course one larger side and more difficult side could mess up in the group, finish second, and we could draw them anyway. So we're back at 1-1 though. As you saw, Farfan scored a great free kick, but Loic Remy comes on for Diego Costa, and I think Schürrle it was that came on for Willian, and actually Laporte struck the bar immediately after those 2 changes were made. You can see how annoyed he is, trying to make an impact on me, because of course he hasn't found himself in the first team that much this year, considering we brought Sergio Ramos in at the end of the very last transfer window. But Schürrle does the defender here with a nice turn, does him again with a second turn, stands the ball up into the middle, Oscar flicks it on, and Loic Remy puts it into the back of the net to seal all 3 points. This time they aren't going to be able to get themselves a dodgy equaliser, because the goal that puts us in front is literally the last kick of the game. In the 93rd minute or 94th minute, Loic Remy seals all 3 points, and we are going to finish top of the group. Question is, can we finish with a win in the final game as well? We'll have to wait and see. That will come up in the next couple of episodes or so. But we have a game at home in the Premier League this time around as the second game of the episode, at home against Fulham. Now, if you remember, we played them in the Cup earlier on this season, played a very, very weakened side against them, but actually that was the uncovering of how good Ashley Posher could be. So I've put him in for this game, as well as players like Junior Malanda and Lucas Piazzon and Wilfred Boney, because we know players like that can do the business against Fulham, because we've already done it once this season. I think they were starting a slightly stronger side this time around, with players like Hugo Rodallega in the starting lineup, as well as Kevin Nolan and of course Martin Stekelenburg in goal. But I was hoping we weren't going to have too much of an issue with Fulham, of course the tiny little baby neighbour of Chelsea, so I wasn't really that bothered by them, to be completely honest. We got off to a nice attacking start, although unfortunately Cesk's shot was straight down the throat of the goalkeeper. But we were going to keep creating chances as the first half drew on. Hulk's being played down the left-hand side here is actually absolutely rapid. Hulk really pleased with the impact he's had on the side. Unfortunately, though, Posher couldn't quite do what he did in the first game against Fulham. He did score a decent goal, actually. I think it was a left-footed strike, so I was hoping that he was going to be able to impress me again here today. Unfortunately, though, hitting the woodwork with that header. Not the strongest or tallest of players, so I was quite impressed with the way that he rose above his defender. But their man in the middle didn't need to rise above anyone, because the ball just dropped straight at his feet, and that was a really actually very, very good finish. First time to just flick it into the far bottom corner, and Fulham took a shock lead. That was the only time they'd come forward for the entirety of the game to that point, and then it was a case of us attacking again. Wilfred Boney doesn't have the most electric feet you've ever seen, but did get away from their defence there. Then I didn't put enough power on the shot, and he played it quite tamely straight at the goalkeeper. I was trying to place it into a corner, didn't quite work, but this time around the ball comes in and Boney does find the corner with a rather stereotypical power header from him. He's extremely good in the air, obviously a big, strong, physical player, and he does have quite the good header on him when you give him the opportunity. A free header indeed as well, because of course the defenders there weren't quite marking him as well as they could, and they made him pay, or he made them pay rather. But Ross Barkley trying to get us in front in the last few minutes, has his shot well saved by Stekelenburg, who denied me numerous times in this game. Hulk though has his shot well saved again, but he only drops as far as the Ivorian yet again, and he puts us 2-1 up with just 5 minutes to go. Boney has done this. He scores goals in patches. He won't score for 2 or 3 games whenever he's played, and then last time he scored a hat-trick, and he scored 2 already in this one, but we've just gone 2-1 up with just a few minutes to go, and then Taggart comes in here and puts them back on level terms at 2-2. I was really annoyed that Kurt Zumrud missed his header at the near post, and even more annoyed because earlier on in the move, Cesc Fabregas had won the ball off the man and then just apparently fell over after tackling him. But Wilfred Boney is going to set things right here, effectively straight from kick-off. We went straight back up the other end. We mentioned he scored a hat-trick in the previous game, that he decided that it would be the right time to put the ball into the back of the net, and he decided to go ahead and score a hat-trick for us again here and get me out of a little bit of mess, or a little bit of a situation that perhaps arose where a free kick wasn't given by the referee. If you go back and see their second goal at the very beginning of the highlights, Cesc wins the ball off them and then appears to be tripped or have his shirt pulled or something. It just flops to the floor, and fortunately for us, we were able to rectify the situation thanks to Wilfred Boney. But as you can see, going to end today's episode with a squad report, and something actually, well, to start off with, a few guys were asking for it in the previous episode. That's why I decided to do it here in this one. But actually, something I'm going to try and implement, or get your guys' opinions on, to perhaps start to implement, is of course you guys like squad reports every now and again. I was thinking I've got one tonight in the Atletico Madrid career mode as well. Shall I just do them every Monday so that we have a squad report each week for both career mode series, so that you guys constantly know exactly what's going on with each of the teams in the various different series? So let me know what you think of that in the comment section. It's something that I think would actually be a decent addition to the series, so that you guys don't have to ask me in advance to be like, Ches, can we see a squad report? Can we see a squad report? Ches, we really want to see the squad report. If you just know that you're going to see it on Monday, then there's nothing to worry about. As you can see, Oscar's still homesick though, unfortunately. Perhaps if you remember the episode a couple of days ago where he apparently wants to leave because he doesn't like the weather. So that is the situation with Oscar still. Not really too sure what's going to happen with him in the upcoming January transfer window. We'll be getting into that at the end of the week, so we'll have to wait and see what if we get any offers in, more to the point, and then what happens with those offers will of course be decided upon by myself and you guys in the comment section and on Twitter, most importantly. So do feel free to follow me on Twitter if you don't already. There will be a link in the description down below. You'll also find links to Facebook and to Instagram as well if you want to follow me over there. And of course, if there's anyone you want to see in particular in the squad report, I know it's a bit late for me to mention it now, but feel free to pause the video at any particular point and you'll be able to see someone's stats in more detail. A few players are growing quite nicely though. Sergio Ramos is up 1, as is Eden Hazard now, who's finally started to grow. One player that isn't growing that well is Lucas Piazzon. Last year he exploded into a really, really good player for us in the second season, and he just isn't quite doing that this year. Perhaps he needs a little bit more first team football, and I'll try to give that to him over the next few episodes to maybe see if we can spark some growth in him. Wilfred Boney unfortunately is unhappy despite scoring 8 goals in the 9 games that he's played this year, so he's getting a decent amount of first team football, but clearly he wants a little bit more. Diego Lopez is unhappy and his form is bad, and perhaps that was a bit of a mistake of a purchase. I went with Diego Lopez because he'd been absolutely rock solid for me in the previous 3 FIFAs, but then with goalkeepers being dickheads this year because they rewrote the engine and it hasn't worked and they're terrible, unfortunately Diego Lopez has actually been the man to actually cause more mistakes than anything else in this series. So unfortunately that turns out to be a bit of a dodgy signing, but we weren't to know that before we bought him, because my previous experience with him over the the past 2 or 3 games has been absolutely incredible. So I was just going on that previous experience. Unfortunately, this year it doesn't seem like it was the best choice, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with him towards the end of this season. Maybe we'll sell him on and bring in someone younger. I'm not entirely too sure, but we currently sit top of the league, as you can see, 8 wins, 6 draws, and the only side still remaining undefeated. We are top solely on goal difference, though, ahead of Man United by 4 goals. We've conceded 1 less and scored 3 more. So we are doing well so far this year, despite a dodgy start. So hopefully things can continue to improve. Arsenal and Manchester City will want to improve, being 10th and 13th respectively after a full 14 games. That's not what you might have expected from those two, but still, we're doing well so far. But that's going to bring today's episode to a close, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Of course, as always, feel free to leave the video a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you haven't already. We hit 33,000 subscribers over the weekend, so absolutely massive thanks to you guys for that, and hopefully we can hit 34, maybe even 35 by the end of November. We'll have to wait and see how things go, but that is going to bring today's episode to a close. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.